Hello and welcome to an episode that discusses the content strategy of the digital media. I am Dr. Preeti Singh, a senior assistant professor at Amity University's School of Communication, specializing in digital media, electronic communication, development communication and social media marketing. Today we shall be discussing the concept of content and strategies of promotion on digital media platforms and vis-a-vis content segmentation. In an increasingly online world, media has turned to different genres on the internet to keep current audiences and bring in new ones. Not only is it a good strategy, it is necessary for any business to stay alive and keep the competitive edge. Whether a company uses a website, social media, blogs or emails, it is essential that it uses all of these tools and exploits them for all the benefits that they offer. In this context, it is generally said that content is king, and in the online media community, you will learn how important it is to utilize content to inform, educate and boost your credibility and connections with audiences. So, what aspect do these tools share in common that is imperative for a successful online content strategy? Yes, you can find them all online, but there is one thing that they all share in common. The answer is content. Though content is not a new concept, it is far more important these days than ever before in the media community. The reason, as you already know, that is because of the internet, where a large number of media promotional tactics that involve content. Exactly how that has come to will be discussed further. However, when it comes to content strategies on the internet, you don't have to look too far to find the right tools and softwares to get your message out. The great thing about content is that it can come in many different media and it can be published through several tools online. And even if the term content strategies is new to your vocabulary, there is a great chance that you have already produced some. Even if it is not online content, it can be repurposed for use on the internet. Hence, in this session, we will discuss the different ways you can publish your content online. Most of the media and tools we will discuss are online, but there are also other ways you can publish and distribute information offline, and how to segment content as per the requirements of different audience requirements. And we will also analyze the strategies for content segmentation. Now, let us start by discussing the objectives of this episode. The objectives of this lesson are to understand the concept of online content and its segmentation, to comprehend the online content designing strategies, to identify and analyze the aspects and tools that is imperative for a successful online content strategy, content strategy and its concept. In this unit, we will discuss in detail the concept behind content and its designing strategies. And it is interesting to know that from the smallest blurbs on a user forum to a YouTube channel full of a company's videos on their products or services, content exists. Whatever form the content takes shape as, the content has a message to convey to readers or viewers and does have at least one of the motives, such as to educate the audiences, to inform the audiences, connect with them, entertain them and create different context to build up the trustworthiness. Content exists to convince the audience that whatever the concept is promoting to them is worth his time and money. Your content should do one of these things for it to be effective, otherwise it is useless and does little more than exist on web space. Accomplishing one of these qualities also lets your potential audience know that the competition is not as good as you are. Educating him or her on the benefits of knowing your ideas and information, what your information does, builds an informal and impersonal relationship. But it is still important to create trust. No trust means no reviews, and no views leads to no likes, hits or subscription. So, content also provides connection between different media. On your blog or social media profile, you might provide a link to your website or allow the audience to contact you by providing an email address. Having a following on Twitter lets you, as a content creator, provide access to other media that is relevant to your purpose. This interconnectivity makes the relationship between audience and content creator more involved, and this can also build trust. Finally, content can entertain. Simply put, not all audiences have the time to educate themselves regardless of the amount of information and educational material you publish. The internet is highly visual, so making entertainment content entices a portion of potential audiences. However, keep in mind that entertainment can take on different tones and should be appropriate to the types of ideas and concepts you have. So, we can now begin to discuss how to develop a strategy for the promotion of content online. Let us think about what form of material takes shapes as content. Is it a newsletter or perhaps an article? Things like this can be repurposed for online use. The content does not necessarily have to change, but the form certainly must change. Some of the crucial but workable strategies are searching for common and relevant keywords, identifying targeted person on the web, being creative, create benchmarking for the content to identify, creating white papers, build links between content and contemporary issues and trends, promote your content over different platforms available online, identify questions, reviews, comments or responses of the target audiences and respond to their needs and suggestions. Create videos more often rather text based content only. Identify all important media channels to approach and promote your content. Write blogs for more diversified audiences. Creating infographics and visuals will get more attention and retain in the memory of audiences for longer period. Apart from these strategies, consider referential material that you already have. It is still feasible, and does it still answer the types of questions that your audiences may ask? FAQs, which is frequently asked questions, and reviews are a good referential material to have, especially on your website. Look over this and any similar material and think about whether or not audience would still use them. Of course, figuring out your content promotional strategies also involves your audiences. Knowing your audience's needs and values is essential to developing content that they will become engaged with. That is what targeting demographics is all about. What one age group likes is not necessarily what another age group will be pleased with. Create your material in the correct form and style, though we will go into more details on audience segmentation and analysis in another session. So, it is important to note one final important preparation to create engaging content. Search engine optimization, which is called SEO, is important to content promotion because that is what you will build your content around. Audiences search in particular ways, and knowing that how they search is crucial to having a successful strategy. For this reason, tools such as Google Keywords are good for finding out what your customers are searching for. They help you build your own content and also help you compete with other competitors in a similar stream. On this point, it is also a good idea to see the content of others and what kind of keywords they use. Be cautious though, and do not simply copy what others have done. Being original will help you stand out from the crowd. Let's talk about the tools available online to promote your content. When you get started on creating your content promotional strategies, focus first on what content you and your team can create as an organization or as an individual. As we mentioned earlier, repurposing old material is also beneficial. One useful thing to do is to create a spreadsheet indicating new and existing material that can be converted into some of the forms that your content can take. The forms including website, blogs, social media such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and so on, articles, e-books, user guides, technical manuscripts, reference materials, press releases, white papers, tutorials, demonstrations, FAQs, reviews, podcasts, videos, music, printable items, downloadable softwares and commercials. It is quite a long list, but one thing is not without beneficial use. It also may seem like quite a bit of work, but the return can be big. Remember, the same content can be molded into any of these kinds of media as long as they are appropriate to that medium. One of the benefits of having the same content through multiple channels is that it reinforces the same idea to potential audiences. Seeing the same information across different media tools gives the appearance that if there is more one source saying it, it must be true. Additionally, having the same content across a spectrum of media ensures that your message is getting across to different kinds of people. The another prominent point to keep in mind is different forms used in media tools. Content is perceived by users with one or more of their senses. On the internet, visuals take precedent over other forms, but content marketers still need words to convey a message. And it is not just words, but rather written typed words. As part of your content promotional strategy, you should decide whether or not content should be presented in one of the formats, including text, which could be typed or written, visual and audio visual formats. We have talked so far about the different kinds of media tools you can use to present information. This list breaks content down into much more broad terms, and from there you can really decide what media tool is most appropriate for your content. Let's take a closer look at each. Keep in mind too that content does not necessarily have to come in one form. That is to say, you can present typed words and videos together. For example, take a look at viewers' reviews or comments. Words are an important form of content because they can deliver the clearest message out there. Think about this in terms of other forms of content. Looking at a picture of a person or an object is different than reading a description about the same thing. Where a visual can physically show you something, words convey what cannot be easily shown. Words can be objective and allow us to take away ambiguity. In content promotions, this is an important element to bringing audiences valuable and relevant information. Though internet users view the online world visually, audiences expect the truth. It is your job to give them information that is not completely subjective. The great thing about typed content is that you can put it just about anywhere on the internet. From your organizations or individual website and blog to article directories, words are extremely versatile. Tweets and status updates may only be just a few words long, but being up to date is what makes it powerful. Typed and written material can even be handed over for free in form of e-books or PDF downloads. Of course, written material is not exclusive online, as you know. Offline materials such as printed articles, advertisements, news, business cards and flyers can make an impact. Remember that part of a promotional strategy means including multiple media tools together. We have mentioned before that going on the internet is a highly visual experience for the user. Visual content lets users use their favorite sense because it lets them intake information without having to take more time to read. Time is one of the reasons why the visual experience is so important when trying to gain potential audiences. You want to make sure that what you publish is important, valuable and relevant information to them. There are certainly many avenues you can take to present sometimes visually. Some of these are video, photo, illustrations, quotes, GIFs, infographics, visual presentations, memes, live feed, it could be offline. And the great thing about these visual content is that you can try to convey an abstract idea without saying a thing. After all, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but is there anything that visuals do but words cannot? This question can yield many answers, but what is clear that visual content can create an aesthetic feel unlike words, which are dry and static. Imagine looking at a picture of a child who is smiling. What feeling would come about if you looked at such a picture? Now imagine a typed description of the girl smiling. Would it bring about the same feeling as looking at a picture? Visuals have the ability to appeal to our emotions, but they can also be informational. Think of a tutorial on how to fix something. Of course, visuals come in a variety of media as well. Sites like YouTube offer a storage place for video, while Flickr offers a space for pictures. Additionally, live presentations are also another visual experience that creates a unique feeling that, if converted into any other medium, might not have the same impact. Live presentations can give audiences a sense of engagement that you cannot get from a simple document. Last, content can be appropriated into an audio form, but itself content that consists only of audio is not as popular as visuals or the word. But think about this, when you are watching a video, you almost have same sound in the background. At a live presentation, someone has to speak. If content was silent, users would certainly take notice and not be pleased. Audio is one of those forms of content that we don't necessarily think about because it is such a common quality that works in synchronization with other forms of content. Of course, that is not one say that content cannot exist alone in the form of audio. Here are some examples of audio that an online content creator could use. Podcast, depending on the business, podcast can range in genres from pure entertainment to informational guides. Music, when you listen to a radio advertisement, you might sometimes hear a catchy jingle to remember the name of a brand or artist as a kind of teaser to another music. This practice is effective and leads to more sales in downloads. Radio, just as you might hear music on the radio, advertisements on the radio also have the spoken words. Since the advertisements only has a little time, they make use of this time by being quick and witty, creating memorable taglines for listeners to remember. Live recorded speech, let's say that your company's president just made a speech at a live event. Some people might like to hear that speech if they were not able to go, especially if the event was held in one geographical location. Ways to allow people to hear this audio include streaming and downloading on MP3. You can also post it as a podcast. Let's talk about the another important platform for sharing content online, that is social media. When it comes to content, you want your content to reach out across a larger audience and connecting and sharing will help accomplish this. There are many benefits to using social media for promotion, but one thing stands out as an important aspect when it comes to content marketing. It is called social media optimization, and it refers to all the aspects of connectivity and sharing. These are 5 tenets to social media optimization, which is also called SMO, and these are creating shareable content. Linkability is the most important part of creating shareable content. You also want to make content that can be replicated easily to another linked site or profile, which can include links or link button at the bottom of a page. The content itself, of course, is what will ultimately determine whether or not it is shareable. Simplifying, sharing, extending from the previous point. When you look at the bottom of a page like a blog post, you might see a lot of buttons denoting that you can tweet or dig the page. While this provides linkability, you do not want the users to feel overwhelmed. Simplify the linkability by making sharing painless and effortless. Proactive content sharing. Do not rely on users to share your content. You should also constantly share content with users so that the content is more likely to get shared by them to their friends. Do not forget to share the content across all social media channels and through different media. If you have pictures of new and improved products, be sure to post them for everyone to see. If you have a new video, highlight the pros and cons of your services, post it and make sure everyone can link to it. Your visibility will increase exponential if you share consistently with people. Encouraging mashup, this is where you can really engage and empower current audiences. What is a mashup anyway? A mashup is when a user takes original content and creates something new from it. He might go on to share it with you or with the world. By doing all of these, you are encouraging people to engage in your organization and empowering them by giving them the ability to remix certain content. Most importantly, when you share with people, they share with all of their friends. Your visibility becomes more dominant and more people see your content. The next and the last prominent platform is blog. Blogs are an especially engaging part of content promotion because content is what makes up a blog. Blogs can range from any kinds of genre, including news updates, commentaries, reviews, opinion pieces, product announcements, or anything. Blogs are also a multimedia platform that can deliver the same content in several different ways. Blogs do not necessarily have to be composed solely of text. You can also include audio or video to complement the text or simply stand alone. Of course, no matter what medium you use, you will have to create engaging, valuable and credible content. Blogs can be shared across the internet. So, if you want your dig or tweet buttons to be pushed, the content you create must be valuable to the users and relevant to his interest. Making the content into different mediums forms also ensures that you appeal to more people, increasing the likelihood that your content will get shared. At the end, we would like to conclude that publishing content is much like giving a speech. When you want to appeal to the crowd, do you want to appeal to your audiences using facts, emotions, or credibility? Content is rhetoric, and all content falls into one of 3 appeals. These are logos. Logos are the facts, pathos are the emotions, and ethos are the credibility. So, keep these points in your mind as you decide what forms and media tools you use to publish your content. As always, one may be more appropriate over the other, and sometimes you will use more than one. When it comes to content, and social media is a greater way to recreate and distribute content and engage the audiences. Moreover, your content should always have SEO inspired keywords to make it more searchable within search engines. Build your content around these keywords, especially if your content is as short as a status update or tweet. And now it's time for a quick recap. On the digital media, content is king. And to survive on this platform, it is necessary to utilize content to inform, educate and boost your credibility. Knowing your audience's needs and values is essential to developing content that they will become engaged with. That is what targeting demographics is all about. Websites, blogs, social media, articles, e-books, user guides, technical manuscripts, reference material, press releases, white papers, tutorial, demonstrations, FAQs, reviews, podcasts, videos, music, printable items, downloadable softwares and commercials are the tools for the content promotion. Social media not only becomes a highly cost effective way of promoting one's brand, but it is also a highly effective medium to spread social awareness. There are various marketing strategies already existing for various requirements. Going on the internet is a highly visual experience for the user. Visual content lets users use their favorite signs because it lets them intake information without having to take more time to read. So, visual or audio-visual content is the key to more visibility on the digital media platforms. That is all we have for you today. Hope you enjoyed this session and learnt about content strategies in new media. We shall return with another interesting episode soon. Until then, thank you, farewell and namaskar.